Welcome back, for those of you who have already been with us once.
You can hear us now.
Hopefully the audio is better, YouTube is live, and we've got everything going. So you'll let us know, and Instagram, you're just getting around too. So here we are in our kitchen, and Hugh had to leave and go run an errand, so maybe I can call it my kitchen for like 3 minutes. I don't know. It's pretty much is not my kitchen. But we have with us today Zach and Jen from Viva Raw, and we've had them in our kitchen in the past to discuss their pet food company, Viva Raw. They have 2 lines. They have a pure and a complete. And we'll talk about those. And
there's still something wrong with our audio. What mic is it using?
I'm using this one, and it's supposed to be fine.
Or can we switch it and it's
This is what it sounds like.
switch to a different? It's giving like a robot voice.
yeah, no, we've got like background. Sorry, we're still having technical difficulties with our Facebook audio.
Well, there's times to try.
Yeah, so we think. Let's see, how many times did we do that outro last time in the intro? 6.
Convinced now.
Jen's never invited back.
Did we check the audio on all those other takes that we did?
Yeah, everything is fine.
Okay, we're gonna try this again.
Facebook's problem, not us.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Could be
Blame
right.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Is anybody listening to YouTube? Does it have that?
That was YouTube that I
Watching
can.
on YouTube.
Instagram is still going, and they say they can hear you just fine.
All right, but is YouTube's audio good?
It's through the same space.
It said that that's a switched microphone. It's got to be the internet.
You're hardwired. It can't be.
It's the same issue on YouTube. So.
YouTube has the same issue?
It's the
So it's the program then.
Could be the program.
Or the mic. Oh wait, now YouTube sounds good.
Yeah.
I sound great from over here.
Should we just
Okay, but how does it sound when we talk from over here? We're closer to the mic.
It's going in and
Judy,
out.
yeah, Judy sounds good.
It's going in and out.
Is there? It's not picking up the mic on that camera too, is it?
No.
Welcome to the world of technical difficulties.
You're literally getting a live look.
Yeah, a behind the scenes look, and we're having so much
Should we
fun.
just bring on some cats?
Yeah. We'll just bring the cats back and let them eat and prove that everybody likes
It's
the
like
food.
cut to the commercial break of just cats.
Except that our cats are pretty full. They've been sampling for a while. There's still a few of them milling around. Like, they might serve more.
It sounds fine. I mean,
Sounds fun now.
yeah. The louder they get, the more it goes in and out.
No.
So we should just talk quietly.
So no loudness. See, I had this problem with that microphone that you replaced. I can bring you that microphone. You can try 75 microphones.
Should we just whisper?
I crouch down.
I mean, the mics are probably good enough to pick it up.
All right, we'll give it a try. Welcome to our kitchen.
For the third time.
I think that was like try number 5. But anyway, Zach and Jen from Viva Raw, they happen to be a local company, which is kind of nice because it makes it easier for them to pop into our kitchen. They came over today because we wanted to balance their pure protein products for cats. So we did this when you had just the pure proteins, and then we did balancing for dogs, and those videos are available on YouTube and Facebook and other places. And so they asked if we could also balance the proteins for cats. And what?
Any audio now?
You don't have any audio on YouTube?
I do on YouTube. Okay.
Oh, you're on YouTube?
It's just very quiet.
Okay.
Okay.
How about Facebook?
Okay, alright.
So that's YouTube. Is anybody checking Facebook?
Yeah, I guess we're okay.
Okay, and we're okay. All right. So what we found in balancing the kitty cat recipes is that we had things that we had to come up with that were different
Yeah.
than what we had for the dogs. So I'm going to start with the one that was the weirdest because I didn't have this in my kitchen or pantry and I had to go find it, which is choline. And it says it supports healthy brain and cellular function for people. So why is this different for kitty cats?
Yeah, so cats are obligate carnivores, which means that different from dogs, there are actually quite a few vitamins, minerals, amino acids that they can't synthesize, similar to how dogs can. So you'll find that dogs, for example, don't have a nutritional requirement for something like taurine because they can actually synthesize it from amino acids, methionine, and cysteine, whereas cats actually need to get that fully from their diet. So either it's through the meat itself, for example, like hard-working muscle meat, or you need to add a supplement for it, as you'll see in some of these recipes that we do.
Right. So the choline, I think we only needed in one of the proteins.
Correct.
I can't remember which
Very
one it
similar.
was. But then we had to, Zach was mentioning taurine, and taurine is really critical. Back in the 1980s, when canned and dry cat foods were becoming very, very popular, which is when I started in practice, we were seeing a lot of cats with cardiomyopathy, like tons of cats with cardiomyopathy, retinal degeneration, retinal detachments. And it was discovered that, lo and behold, cats, obligate carnivores, didn't do well on corn-based diets. Who'd have thunk? So now when you read the ingredient panel on cat foods, very commonly you will see taurine added in because they know that cats have a higher taurine requirement because they can't make it on their own. So you'll never go wrong adding taurine to a cat diet.
There's actually no upper limit. It's
No
pretty
toxic dose.
Yeah.
So we use just a human grade from now. And I like the powder because you can titrate your doses a lot easier. All right, another place where you could find taurine and some of the other trace vitamins and minerals is with RX Essentials, RX Vitamins Essentials for Cats. Sorry, has a lot of the trace minerals and vitamins as well as the taurine. And if you look at they also make an RX Essentials for dogs. And if you look at the ingredient panels, they are different. The dog one does not contain taurine because they didn't make their taurine. And then most of the products are going to be low in vitamin D and vitamin E. So if you just need a straight vitamin D, the RX Vitamins RX D3 liquid. There is some vitamin D in the essentials, but I really like getting it from the liquid product. I think it's more stable.
Right.
So let's see, a place where we can get our vitamin E is one of our superfoods, wheatgrass.
Yes.
Yeah.
We all like wheatgrass. You'll find it in our complete dog recipe.
So well, you never know, it might show up in complete cat recipes at some point. So it has vitamin E, but it also has manganese and zinc and some of the trace minerals that we need to get balanced out as well. So if we were doing a true prey model diet where we were trying to get all of our vitamins and trace minerals and everything from the food, we would have to include things like hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the
brain
eyeballs
and
and stuff
eyeballs.
Eyeballs are great for eyes.
There you go. There you go. Because iodine is really hard to get, so we get it from kelp. So sea-based products. We could, so for zinc and iodine, we could use kelp, we could use oysters, we can use mussels. But what we were looking for is not adding another protein source, and so the kelp works really well for the iodine. And then manganese, we can get manganese from wheatgrass. We can also get it from turmeric. Turmeric's another one of those superfoods, I think. The great antioxidant. It's a great chi tonic, really good for heart function, which, by the way, we're dealing with cats who we don't want to have cardiomyopathy. So, having something for, and this is Star West Botanicals organic turmeric root powder. You could buy fresh turmeric and grate your own if you wanted to. Let's see, the only thing we didn't talk about was fish oil. So omega-3 is just as important for kitty cats as they are for dogs. And so a couple of the recipes were really, really low in omega-3s.
Beef, for example.
Yeah, beef. So, so we had to add the omega-3s in there, and you could use salmon oil or sardine anchovy. I just chose the sardine anchovy. So, what are the 5 proteins that you have available in your Pure line?
Yeah, so that would be chicken, turkey, duck, rabbit, and beef. Yeah.
And so they're great if you have an animal where you're not sure if they have a food sensitivity, you're trying to figure that out, you want something that's really pure, that doesn't have a lot of, so like the complete line for the dogs has some vegetables
Right.
and some other things.
Some other natural supplements.
So this is a great way, like I use their Pure products to help determine what Forest can and cannot eat. Makes it a lot easier when you have a Pure product. And I, instead of adding other foods in, I can add some simple supplements to cover those bases.
Yeah, so it's really good if you're trying to essentially do an elimination diet. Like you can start with just feeding the pures and then slowly add in things like one at a time. And that's really just the best way to figure out what you actually have a food sensitivity for.
Yep. And then these are 2-pound packages. So I happen to have a large clouder of cats. So for our clouder, a 2-pound package is perfect. For your single kitty cat living in
Or
your,
maybe a large
you can also, for your single cat living at your house, you may not want to use 2 pounds of food at a time. So in the videos, we showed how to balance the 2 pounds. And so then what you can keep in the refrigerator is what you would use up in 2 to 3 days. But a great little trick is once you mix up all your supplements with your 2 pounds, then you could portion it. This is a silicone ice cube tray. And so these probably hold like 3 ounces, which is kind of a perfect cat meal. And you could freeze your little kitty meals, pop them out of the ice cube tray one at a time. You do, especially with cats, they are definitely pickier than dogs. They don't like leftovers and they don't like cold food. So if you think about what a cat would eat, and if our cats go catch mice or bunnies or whatever it is that they're going to eat, they're going to eat it while it is still body temperature and warm and fresh. That's what they like. So if you take something out of the freezer, you definitely want to warm it up as close to body temperature as you can. So a couple ways you could do that. You could pour hot water or hot bone broth on it, but a lot of times cats don't like soupy foods either.
They're hard to please.
Yeah, I mean, texture, it's weird because some cats really like chunks with gravy, some cats like a pate.
Right.
So this is going to be more of, I'm sure this is one of the ones we mixed up. So that's more of a pate recipe. Now these guys do make a chunky
version,
which kitty cats like because they can pull out a gizzard and gnaw on that, or a heart. Our cats love to eat the raw chicken hearts that we serve. So another way, if your cat doesn't like it soupy, is you could pop out your frozen cube, put it in a plastic bag, and sit that bag in a bowl of hot water and allow it to warm up that way. If you are going to cook the food, because these foods can be gently cooked. If you're going to cook it, we do recommend do the cooking, then add the supplements, because a lot of these supplements will either they'll
You
either
just get less of it when you heat it up.
Yep. They'll either be inactive or rancid
Yeah.
in eating with some of the oils. So we want to make sure that when we're adding the supplements that they're actually going to be utilized. So we did taste testing today with our kitties,
Yeah.
and there was not one protein that they didn't like.
Well, you have a clouder, so there was at least one cat that liked.
Well, Gigi pretty much said she wanted to be the cat to taste all of them. And then anything that the cats left, George was nice enough to do the dishes for us and cleaned off the platter in between episodes. And then I just wanted to hit a reminder that Gwen told me on Dr. Judy U just went live today, Billy Hookman's course, Incorporating Fermentation into Your Dog's Diet. So that is now available on Dr. Judy U. If you need a last-minute Christmas gift for someone, you could buy them a download, which they can get instantly. So if you forgot to shop, if you're one of those last-minute people, and you could shop Christmas Eve and still have it there by Christmas morning, not an issue if you buy a digital product. Is there
Anything else?
I might be giving away secrets, but is there any chance that we're going to have balanced cat food at some point? Are we going to have complete cat recipes?
I think it's about time.
Not quite time.
Okay, well, I think obviously, we take our time making our recipes just to make sure we, do the best we can with them. But tentatively, next year, first half of next year, we'll see.
First half of next year.
It's a little too soon.
It's
It's
a
a
lot
little
of
too
work.
soon to promise anything yet, but
It's a lot of work to get them out.
if you've known us for a while, we like to do things right, and we'll take our time with it as long as it's the way we want it to be. So yeah, I think it's definitely coming, and can't promise a timeline yet, but when it's here, it'll be good.
Yeah, it's worth the wait.
Can I just say metal personality? Metal personalities make me a little crazy. However, when you hire employees, I strongly recommend hiring metal personalities. If you want someone to formulate your pet's food, I strongly recommend metal personalities.
Yeah, I would say Zach is a little more metal than me.
Something that I will mention that is exciting for us, we actually just released a feeding calculator on our website.
Ooh.
So if you're curious about how much to feed your cat or dog, but today we're obviously talking about cats, I know there's this common theme of talking about feeding by percentage of body weight. It is a good place to start, but it is not going to be completely accurate, especially for smaller pets.
Yeah.
So for example, 2 to 3% is not going to apply the same way to like a 10-pound cat as it would like a 100-pound dog, right? So one thing we did is we incorporated a lot of research, the latest information from FEDIAF, which is the European Pet Food Standard. Most people know them to be, a little bit ahead of the curve compared to AFCO. But they have some great, they have done some
great
great research.
equations.
Yeah, so it's very complex, the math behind the calculator itself.
And that's why we tend to stick with 20 to 30 calories per pound of body weight, or 3%
Right.
of body weight, because the formulas that are used in those are like, a lot of people have problems with 20 to 30 calories per pound, or 2 to 3% per pound. So when we give out that equation, so it's very nice
People
of you.
just go,
It's
"Whoa."
very nice of you to do that, so that people don't have to lose their minds.
Right.
So and anything like even using that calculation, it's a starting point.
Definitely.
So whether you use the 20 to 30 calories or the 2 to 3%, so a rule of thumb is that the larger the animal, the less percentage
Of
it's
their body.
going to be. So a 100-pound dog, if my 100-pound, 120-pound Doberman needed to eat 1 to 1.5% of his body weight, otherwise he was a blimp. A small, very active Maltese, Yorkie, a little
Right.
4-pound Chihuahua that's running around all the time, or doing agility, that sort of thing, they might be eating 4 to 6% of their body weight.
Correct.
So the smaller the dog, so if you have a smaller dog as your starting point, if you you can use their calculator, which is awesome, but I would start at least 3% of body weight. For a larger dog, I would start at 2% max.
Right.
Yeah, and obviously, you see the dog in front of you, that's what you're feeding, right? Like, you should check on how their weight is, how their waists look, and always adjust from there. So these are all starting points, but your dog is an individual, and your cat, too.
Yeah, that's one of the things, I think it was Matthew Muir, Dr. Muir from Australia on our nutrition summit, talked about using body condition scores to be able to adjust your pet's weight. So, and it was great because he really talked about looking at them from the top, looking at them from the side. So
Right.
you want that tuck for the stomach. Like, it shouldn't be a straight line. There should be a tuck. They should have a waist. From the top, they should have a waist again behind the rib cage. So I think, at least for Americans, I don't know about other countries, but at least for Americans, we tend to keep ourselves a little heavier than we should, and we keep our pets heavier than we should. And it's really interesting because when we look at statistics, 54% of dogs and cats are overweight or obese.
Yeah,
But
it's almost the new normal, right?
it is
Yeah.
the new
People don't
normal
actually know.
because when you ask people, like if we took 100 animals and put them in front of 100 veterinarians and 100 pet owners, the veterinarians are going to say that 54% of them are overweight or obese. The pet owners, given that same scenario, it's about 25%.
Wow.
So we really have trained ourselves to think that they should be heavier
Right,
than they
right,
should be.
Absolutely.
And there's just so many studies that show how many years longevity we gain or lose by having them overweight
Yeah.
or a healthy weight. So pretty critical. Plus all the chronic inflammatory diseases. But anyway, so thank you for that. That's
Yeah.
great. So what's your website?
VivaRawPets.com.
Viva Raw Pets.
PETS.
Yeah.
Do not leave out the pets because VivaRaw.com is something totally different.
Probably,
Yeah,
yes.
I think it is. I think I looked it up.
Don't make that mistake.
And I was like, it didn't take me there. So VivaRawPets.com is going to get you where you want to be. So you can look at that feeding calculator and then keep an eye on our site and YouTube and Facebook in the next 2 to 3 weeks. It's probably going to be more like 3 weeks because our video editor is taking his first vacation in a year. How dare he?
Calling anyone.
We are very happy to have him take a vacation. He's been very hardworking. So the rest of the team is going to try to pitch in, but it may be a couple of weeks because it's the holidays and everyone deserves a little time off. So on that note, anything else you want to impart words of wisdom?
No,
I
I'm
think we're good. I think we said a lot today. Just wait and watch for these videos. They're really good. And hope you guys really enjoy them.
Hopefully it helps. My cats like them.
Yeah.
The clouder. Crazy clouder.